That is a very interesting question. And a behavioral psychologist called Skinner did a lot of work, B.F. Skinner. He did a lot of work on how to pattern your environment, how to create different environments so that they become rewarding rather than punishing. And he tried to condition responses with reward systems rather than negative reinforcers, which took away from the person the joy of being. And he therefore also had several experiments done in the laboratory to understand how reward works. And fascinatingly, he found that reward has to be given not consistently, but reward has to be given in the form of some schedule. So, like 3 good responses, you give a reward. 10 good responses, you reward. And the degrees and intensities of those rewards also was mapped out. So, for instance, first time you may just say to the child who's done a good thing, and just a nod. Second time, you may add the smile with the nod, making it more elaborate and intense. Then you make it even more if the child's real behavior is to be shaped, which you like and which is positive and which is good for the child. Then probably you would say, "Good, John, that was lovely. I mean, that is great." Or you add that description a little later and make it just good or very good or excellent. And John, that was great. Again, according to a schedule. Now, this can be all done in the lab, right? In real life, it doesn't get so contrived and so masterminded. It flows spontaneously and naturally. So sometimes wrong responses get shaped because you might say good when the child is actually not performed to the level of your desired responses. So it is fascinating about how this pattern of rewards you can actually create for the child to shape the right behavior. Now, who's going to decide which is the right behavior and what is the right behavior? It is not according to a judgmental pattern. It is not good or bad. It is not right or wrong. But a parent has to look at the entire situation and see how that behavior is appropriate to the context in which that behavior is expected or desired. So let us say you've gone for a party and with your children, and the child sits on the sofa, slouches, and is, because he's conditioned at home to slouch and sit in that very lazy boy, relaxed way. So, how to recondition that pattern of behavior of the child, because you don't think that that is appropriate in this context. The way to do it is to first gently give a message of that behavior not being all right to the child, and then observe whether the child changes his way of sitting. As soon as the child sits up straight, posturally corrects himself, and is doing the appropriate thing in that context, you begin to give verbal reinforcements and rewards, or just sometimes a tap, sometimes a stroke, sometimes a smile, sometimes a very beautiful kind of hug. And these are the reinforcers that parents could use in a way that is subtle, but the non-verbal communication is more powerful at times than verbal communication. So, patterns of behavior which you want to modify can be created and evoked in a way that is very subliminal, and the child is not even consciously aware that you are creating the right patterns of responses.